Hey guys and gals, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. This is going to be part unboxing, part review, and this is going to be a little bit of a different unboxing as this is actually a service unboxing. So I just got my Patek Philippe 5196g back from Patek service. I sent it into their Rockefeller, New York City location, and they did a terrific job. And it occurred to me getting this watch back that I've never done a review for it on this channel. It's a wonderful little piece. I love the 5196g. It was just discontinued a few years ago, I believe around 2021 or 2022. And it's just a great classic modern dress watch that takes cues from the original Calatrava line. I also know people that have these watches or watches in general wonder what service is like. So I figured I'd kill two birds with one stone. We'll talk a little bit about what the service experience was like and then also the watch itself, which is phenomenal. Okay, so I sent this watch in a few months ago, August of 2024, for two primary reasons. One is the dial itself was showing a little bit of patina on it, and I have severe OCD, and so I wanted them to do a restoration on the dial. I also just wanted to have a normal service done on it. So they went ahead and did two things. They replaced the dial for me, and they did a complete service on the movement itself. And it comes in a bigger cardboard box, which I pre-packaged it from. But these are the contents you get back when you get your watch back from service. So out the door, $2,063, tax, return freight, etc. included. And there was two parts to that. First part was servicing the movement. Second part was replacing the dial. If all you did was service the movement, you'd be around $1,000. So I tacked on another 50% because I wanted the watch fully restored, even though it's a modern piece. Again, I know I have my issues, but they did a phenomenal job. Sent it in August. Told me I'd have it back by December, which is 4 months. I got this back late October. So a little bit over 2 months, half the time they committed to. 2 months, depending on your perspective, is long or short. But I think they did a phenomenal job. Everybody was very friendly, very responsive at the service center, kept me abreast of what was going on with it, and I couldn't be more pleased with the end result. So let's go ahead and we'll unbox it from service. One of the things you may be curious about that also came with it is this is a bonus that I was not expecting, but they gave me a watch pouch, which I think is cool. I always love free stuff. Well, I'm sure it wasn't free, I gather I paid for it. But inside this little watch pouch, Patek Philippe, with compliments of international customer service. Great little place to store the watch. We recommend you service our watches with us. Yeah, I have no doubt they do. But anyway, that's that. Let's take the watch apart, or take it out of this box. Customer service, got a nice little preview of it there. Oh, this is fun. There's your little window. Open it up, and we have our watch in here with a hand tag. So let me go ahead and get this open. We'll pull this out, and we'll unwrap it here. 1 sec. All right, so this is cut off. We can go ahead and pull the watch out. We have a little hand tag that's got my movement and stuff on it. I don't want to see that on camera, but you can see the reference. Please to return your attention to detail, blah, blah, blah. Thank you for your service. That's cool. And then I think you Patek owners have seen these. Here's a little sticker for service. So let's go ahead and we'll get these removed and we'll be right back. All right, all that extra stuff is out of the way. So let's actually go ahead and take a look at the watch itself. So this model is the Patek Philippe 5196g. Those of you that are unfamiliar with Patek models, the final alphanumeric characteristic at the end, so the alpha characteristic at the end, the G, designates what it's made out of. The case of G in this case indicates that this watch is made out of 18 karat white gold. They also have a rose gold version, and they also have a platinum version of the 5196. I went for the G version or the white gold version because I just love the idea of stealth wealth, especially when this watch, as an example, is the antithesis of that. 37 millimeters. This thing wears quite large for its size. It's a great modern size. And it's also incredibly thin. You look at this profile. It has such a nice, comfortable, minimalist character to it. You can see there's a marked Patek crown. This particular watch is a hand winding movement. There is no automatic. You wind the crown as such. It is also not hacking, so you just pull the crown out to set the time. This movement is known as the 215 or 215 PS. PS stands for petite seconds. As you can see, petite seconds, small seconds is down here at 6 o'clock. So this is a much more traditional style watch. This is a direct, I'd say modern equivalent to the original Calatrava line the Stern family introduced back in the 30s. This is very much a modern sized Patek in classic Patek style. And that was what really spoke to me about this watch. And also, there's just a lot of little details on this that aren't really visible at first glance. So like this dial is an example. At first glance, it just looks like a silver dial. There's not really much to notice. And obviously you have those sword hands, but as I rotate it, you can see all these beautiful little pips at every minute counter that randomly just kind of light up. They're just beautiful. And you don't really notice them. In some lights, the dial looks flat, and another light, it just picks up the most incredible reflections. These little minute markers, they're all individually set into the dial, and they're metal. They're not painted on, and they just really grab your eye in the right light. I love, love, love those minute tracks. It comes on a lizard strap. I believe this is, I can never tell, and you can correct me in the comments, crocodile versus alligator. This is a little formal for me, and I will be putting it on a suede very soon. And unfortunately to most, there is just a solid gold case back. There is nothing you can see of the movement. And so if you wanted to engrave this to yourself, you could easily do that. However, I think most of us would prefer a clear case back. This has a beautiful movement in it, and I'll insert a shot of it here. Beautiful, beautiful movement. The finishing level, this is a Patek seal movement. It says it's a modern piece. It's beautifully done, and the light captures it in such an incredible way. It's got a very simple buckle on it, also an 18 karat gold, also marked Patek Philippe 18K. But one of the things that I love of this watch is just, again, it's a very classic design with modern proportions. And I also love that it's very honest in what it is and what it isn't. I think one of the things that really gives away a watch and whether or not it's right for you is when you know what it isn't. And so obviously, if you're looking for a dress watch and you want something subtle, this is way more subtle than something like a Rolex President. But I have another watch in my collection I also think is a great equivalent to share with you as a counterpoint. We have here this Grand Seiko as well. And what I really want to show you is just the class the Patek Philippe has compared to other watches in terms of its proportions, just the way it wears. So this Grand Seiko is a brown dial Japanese Batik edition, also 37 millimeters, and this Rolex is 36 millimeters. And what you notice immediately is even though their class has the same size, the dial that you see on the Patek just wears so much larger. And it's basically on the Seiko and also on the Rolex, so much space is taken up by the bezels, whereas on the Patek, you get this kind of maxi dial, which is just beautiful. Additionally, if you just look at the proportions, right? So here, look at how thin this case is, and we compare it to just this Grand Seiko. You can just see immediately just how slim this watch is. And this Grand Seiko is far from a Breitling or a Panerai. It's a pretty decent sized watch, but it's not crazy. You just get a sense and appreciation for just how slim this watch really is. And even it comes down to the strap itself. I mean, again, here's another Croc strap for comparison. Look how thick that strap is versus the Patek strap. Everything about the Patek is just very minimalist, very tasteful, and it's just very light. And it's something you don't really appreciate about it until you see it in person or compare it to an equivalent watch. The little subtleties of this in the design, the top part being polished and the bottom polished, but on the sides you have a lovely brushed finish that is perfect. These are just things you really don't notice until you get it in the flesh and compare it to other watches. You just appreciate all the little details that aren't first noticeable. Anyway, very short review. I wanted to share this watch with you because I realized I haven't, and it is honestly one of my favorite watches, and it's grown on me the more I've had it, and having it back now, it's just really nice to have it because there's days, don't get me wrong, I like having something like this on my wrist, but there's just something so timeless and so classy and subtle, and dare I say stealth wealth about a Patek Philippe that this is not a watch unless that it's going to shout attention. This is something that's subtle, it's elegant, it's timeless, it's classic. And the people that notice something like this are the people that actually really appreciate watches. And so with that, we'll give ourselves a quick little wrist check and we'll wrap up here. So here you can see the 5196G on my wrist. My wrist is about 7.5 inches. And again, this is just a very subtle watch. I don't know, everybody that's into watches, you catch yourself looking at watches. This watch is no different. This thing has just got so much going on that you don't really notice unless you really give it some attention. And again, that 37 millimeter, I know some people think that might be a little bit small. as someone who comfortably wears 45mm Panerais, this watch is perfect sized. I don't see any issue with the size of this watch whatsoever, and it is just beautiful. I absolutely adore it, and would be really curious what you guys think as well. As you can see, there is no anti-reflective coating, so my overhead mid-century modern lights are making it look yellowed, but it is a very beautiful piece, and I'm very grateful and fortunate to have it in my collection. And it just kind of goes with everything. I mean, there's some random Buddhist bracelet from Hong Kong, and it looks great next to that too. So with all that said, thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you haven't already, please take a moment to subscribe and like the video. And as always, future video ideas, feedback is stuff that I greatly appreciate, and I'll catch you soon on the next video. Take care.